Welcome to the Better Business Beat, your go-to source for insights, stories, and conversations that matter to our community. I'm your host, Mechele Mills, and each week we explore topics which impact the way we live, work, and do business here in East Texas. From smart consumer tips and local success stories to practical advice for navigating today's challenges, we are here to keep you informed, empowered, and connected. So, whether you're a consumer, a business owner, or someone who just loves to support local organizations, this show is your front row seat to the people, trends, and ideas shaping our region. Today on the Better Business Beat, we're talking East Texas real estate with Kelly Raulston, a broker associate with East Texas Preferred Properties. A former TISD teacher and Stephen F. Austin State University grad, Kelly has become one of the region's standout agents, serving as the 2024 Realtors Director, immediate past chairman of the Greater Tyler Association of Realtors, GTAR, and a Texas Realtors Realtor to Watch Award winner. She's big stuff. That's not all. She has also been recognized among East Texas View's 40 Under 40 and as a top sales producer at her brokerage. Kelly is a passionate person about our community. She's professional and she helps buyers and sellers make confident decisions across East Texas. She's even helped my husband and I. So thank you. Kelly, thank you for joining us today.
Wow, that was an incredible introduction. I'm so blessed to be here today. Let's get started.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds awesome. Okay, so math teacher to realtor. Why don't you tell us a little bit how you did that and how your years in the classroom helped shape the way that you educate clients and manage expectations?
So thank you so much for the opportunity. So I graduated from Stephen F. Austin State University, and there was a hiring freeze when I was graduating, meaning no one was hiring teachers. So the only job opportunity I had was with Tyler ISD. That was the only interview. I applied to 60 different districts. And so that's what brought me out to East Texas. And I've always been loyal to Tyler, Texas area. And I taught middle school math for 5 years at Moore MST Magnet School. And I really enjoyed it. But something was just lingering with me saying like, hey, can I be successful in another career? I really enjoyed my time in the classroom, but I wanted an opportunity to try something new, and that's why I tried real estate.
Awesome. So how does your being a math teacher or even just working with kids, how has that helped you in your career?
I think working with kids has made me a lot more patient.
Yes.
I've also would say more relatable. And when you are a math teacher, you have to sometimes persuade children to learn things that they don't necessarily understand or they can't really relate to, or the concepts may be a little bit more difficult, but giving them that hope, giving them some tools where they can realize what they can use in real life. And I think just making it fun, making the education experience a lot more fun. And how I use that now in my career is I work with a lot of different personalities. Relationships is huge in my career, and just being able to work together in order to have a common goal with buyers and sellers.
That's awesome. And I know you have great relationships with your clients, and I mean, for you to be working with GTAR and have earned all your accolades with them. I mean, I think that your ability to connect with people from your teaching career has really helped you as well.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So you have held leadership roles with GTAR, Texas Realtors. Why should consumers care about an agent's industry involvement? Why is that so important?
I think it's important because people want to know how you're bettering the industry, what you're doing in order to serve. And I think the biggest thing is providing value. There are a lot of people who like to sit on the sidelines and grunt and complain, but not make changes. And, I wanted to lead in the association because, there were things that I wanted to change. And, I was looking to someone else to do it and no one did. And that was God saying, hey, it's your time to step up. It's your time to lead. And I think it's also important to instill and inspire other people to want to have those leadership roles. And I was youngest chairman of Greater Tyler Association of Realtors. I was 33 at the time. So doing that as a young woman professional in an industry that, there are people who have 20, 30, 40 years of real estate experience, but having the opportunity to be a leader at the association was pretty memorable and remarkable.
And so you did that how long into your career? Pretty young into your career, didn't you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that great question. So I got my real estate license in 2016, and I was on the board of directors in 2020, and I was fast tracked and was the president of the association in 2023. And I've just completed my role as being on the board of directors as a few years ago. So pretty relative and pretty new into my industry. Yeah, that's when I started.
Yeah. So how did that help you actually become a better realtor today?
I think it's because you have to, pull your shoulders back a little bit more. You got to have the confidence to be able to speak and to be able to relate to people who not only are homeowners and consumers, but also leaders in different areas in different states and different regions. And also, being ready to go on the news, being able to talk to people from different socioeconomic statuses. So I think it was just giving me a little bit of swagger in order to be thrown into different situations in order to be successful in those.
Yeah, I would definitely say you have swagger, but you're also so humble
Thank
and
you.
so wonderful to work with.
Thank
So,
you.
all right, let's talk a little bit about policy and advocacy. What public policy conversations like land use, property rights, those types of things, consumer protections, are on your radar this year as a realtor,
I
and why?
That's a really, really great question. I think something that we kind of really need to be cognizant about is water use. I
Hmm.
think that we we've had times where, people are wanting to build, wanting to develop, and, people are going to need plumbing, people are going to need running water, people are going to need safe water. And so when people are building these subdivisions, it's being cognizant of the fact of, hey, where are we getting that water from, right? Are we
Mm-hmm.
having to build aquifers? Are we having to drill deeper wells and things of that nature? So that's kind of been a big hot topic for me, and I think it's something that's not as discussed as often. And then also just being relevant within like what is going to be coming. Some big trends are multifamily living, so having not multifamily but multi-generation, so having grandmothers living in the same house as their children and their grandchildren for affordability reasons. And also, I think based on the pandemic, people are wanting to come together a little bit more. And then the excessive dwelling units, trying to get that, guest house. So generating
I didn't
additional
help you.
income. Yes, you did. No, generating additional income and, again, having
Side
the plumbing
gigs,
for
side
that.
hustles.
Yes, side hustles and, things like that. So those are the water for me, that's the big one. Because where are we going to
That
get water?
I didn't expect you to say that, but that makes so much sense. When I was serving on I still kind of serve on the chamber board, and that was at one point that was a big topic that we were talking
Mm-hmm.
about. Like Columbia, are they building it or are they not? I don't know
Right.
if they still are or not,
Right.
and how other cities get water from us, they buy water
Mm-hmm.
from us.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to be able to continue doing that? And we're just building and building and building, and at
Mm-hmm.
some point, are we going to reach capacity? So that is very interesting. I
Yep.
didn't expect you to say that.
Yep.
So something else happened earlier this year. Something with contracts and having to sign contracts with the person that you're using as a real estate agent, right? I can't remember what it was. Sorry, now
Representation agreement.
that one. That's what
Okay.
I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah, tell us about that because
So
that's kind of new.
I want to go into that a little bit more. I mean, signing these representation agreements, it's just defining it's defining the legal relationship between you're working with that realtor. Like that's who you want to work with. That's the brokerage that you want to work with, whether you're going to be a buyer, whether you're going to be a seller. It's defining that in writing so that people know, and that it's just more about being transparent and also communicating things that need to be communicated. So
Yep.
when you go and tour a property, if you want to be represented by a realtor, it's highly suggested that you get into a buyer's representation agreement. And I can understand why consumers might not want to do that right off the bat because, it would be essentially like you're going into the bar and you're meeting some guy and it's like, oh, we're going to get married this first time that we're going to be talking to each other. Like, I could see
Yeah.
where you would want to like
Sure.
not sign that. But that's why it's important before you get into that legal agreement. I think it's important that you like sit down, get together, have a cup of
Yep.
coffee, and actually interview multiple agents to see
Agreed.
where's going to be the best fit for you, because everyone's
Yeah.
got different personalities.
Well, and that's what we always say at BBB. Don't just get one bid, not just, and that's with, it's kind of like that. So with any industry, with anybody that you're wanting to do business with, whether it's a realtor, whether it's a plumber, whether it's an electrician,
Right.
interview people, get several, it could be a personality thing. It could be, I mean, you have to vibe with somebody, especially when it's
Yes.
real estate agent, because I mean, it's probably going to be a long-term relationship, right?
Mhm.
It could be just
Absolutely.
for that property, but it could be for many properties down the road as well. So I highly agree with that. And what I found with any kind of contract, they are there to protect both parties,
Mhm.
right? It's not just one-sided. And so it's new, and anytime something's new, people are a little uncomfortable about it. But typically, when a contract is involved, it means it's there to protect both parties.
Right. And
So
I also, it's like, I can understand why some people wouldn't want to do that. And so, for example, if you're wanting to interview agents, a lot of things that are coming to light right now are open houses. They're coming way more relevant, probably because, we're wanting to show those properties. People aren't wanting to sign representation agreements. And so you can go into an open house and just tour the house if you want to tour the house. But just know, take this opportunity as a time to research. Not only research the property, the neighborhood, but research the agent as well. Get to know them, because this may be someone that you might want to work with in the future.
So, what kind of questions do you think, if I'm interviewing and I'm interviewing real estate agents, what kind of questions should I ask?
Oh, that's a good question. So, some questions I would want to ask is, okay, where's your geographic competency? They're probably not going to use those words as,
Yeah, I was like,
where's your
"What? You're over my
specialty?
head now."
Where is your where is your real estate specialty? Do you work with houses, or do you do more commercial? Do you like to just stay in the Tyler area, or are you willing to show me from Carthage to Ben Wheeler? Where is your area of expertise in terms of the geography? Some agents think that they can show all over the state of Texas, and some of them have those skills, but I would prefer to stay in East Texas in my local roots.
Right. Somebody who specializes in this area,
Absolutely.
knows it really, really well, knows all the back roads and stuff.
I'd also like to ask like what your availability is in terms of showings and things of that nature. And then also, do you have resources? Do you have preferred individuals that you like to work with? And like Mechele said, in terms of the Better Business Bureau, it's a level of accountability, especially when you are accredited with the Better Business Bureau. So it's always good to go back to those sources to see if you can work with an individual off that list. And it may be a great fit for you, it may not, but just seeing who's accredited, because it's that extra layer of trust.
Right. Okay, so if I am a buyer or seller in East Texas right now, what are one or two market realities that I should accept?
Okay.
Yeah.
Great question. So let's start off with buyers.
Okay.
There is more inventory than there's been in the past 6 years. So inventory in comparison to September of last year has increased almost 40%. So I'll give you some real numbers. Let's say there were 100 houses on the market last year. That means there's essentially 140 to look at, right? The numbers may vary. I'm just trying to let y'all know that there are more houses to look at, more possibilities. But as a buyer, I would still keep to no more than 4 non-negotiables, which are things that you're not willing to compromise on. And if you're requiring financing, I would probably make your budget number one. And so if you are hard on your budget, I would say you could be a little bit more flexible on commute or square footage of your house, or maybe even the school district. But maybe the school district's super important to you. So you may have to be more flexible on your budget or on your commute in order to fit in those non-negotiables. Now, as the seller, like I said, there's more inventory than there's been in the past 6 years or so. And so you are going to be competing more, and there's supply and demand. When supply is high, demand sometimes is low. When demand is low, supply is high sometimes. Right now we have higher supply in a balanced market. And so what can you do? You can make sure that you're working with the local East Texas real estate agent in order to price your home effectively and try to market to as many buyers as you're willing to work with. Also, it's getting your home curb appeal looking good. It's decluttering, it's depersonalizing, and sometimes that declutter and depersonalize takes a lot more time.
Yes, when we sold our house, there was, I mean, take anything, it was, I mean, but it sold. This was during the pandemic. It sold the
Mm-hmm.
first day. I mean, the first person that looked at it made us the offer, and we were like, okay, we had our deal breakers too when we were selling. It was like, we're not going to be great. We're not going to be greedy. We're just trying to move on to the next thing because we were one of those multi-generational things. We're trying to find a place for my mom to come live with us. So that is very true. And that made a huge difference. I mean, it was just very, it was very plain. It didn't have our personality in it, but it allowed them to picture themselves
Right.
with their own personal things in our home. So it did move very quickly.
Yes.
So beyond list price and beyond just maybe depersonalizing, what are some other things that might help a seller have a fast, clean sale in our area?
I would say making sure that before you list the house, I would probably utilize a professional from the Better Business Bureau as far as a contractor or maybe a handyman just to go through and any of those, slightly errors, areas in which you need to kind of fix because there is more inventory now. So buyers can see that stuff, chip paint, the wood rot, a lot more clearly because they're comparing to more houses. So getting that, taken care of before you go on the market is going to make it a little bit better.
Okay, those are really, 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 that's really good advice. So if I'm a first-time buyer, what is the most common myth first-time buyers bring to you? And maybe a little, do you have a little like reality check for them?
I think that HGTV reality show of the women dressed in like fancy schmancy clothes and looking at $1 million houses is kind of like put a little cloud of fantasy on the real estate
Right.
industry. It is hard work, and I think that if you go into it doing research before you go into the house, and it's again, I'm going to go back to being married. When you go and try on wedding dresses, sometimes people have their budgets. There's $500 wedding dresses, there's $20,000 wedding dresses. If you put on that $25,000 wedding dress and you cannot afford it, it's going to make the $500 dresses not look as fancy. But if you would have just stuck with your budget from the beginning, you would have thought that $500 dress looked fantastic.
Right.
Same thing with houses. If your budget is $250, but you want to go and look at $650,000, $700,000 houses, it's fun to look. I have so many clients who still go on realtor.com and who look at houses like literally the day after they close and fund. They still want to look at houses because it's fun to look. But it's going to, sometimes diminish what that $250,000 house looks like. So try your best to stay within your budget. It's going to make things so much better in the long run.
I do recommend that people go through the parade of homes.
Oh,
If you like to do
yes.
that kind of thing, you can walk through the houses. And because when we did that, we did that and we were like, we like this, and we kind of used those in our home now. So that was kind of a nice thing to do. And it, of course, we couldn't afford those houses that we were looking at, but it did help us get some ideas, for landscaping, and so we were able to incorporate some of those in the home that we did buy. I love our home.
Yes.
But,
And it's fun, and you get to learn the trends. And same thing with the historic tour during the Azalea District, the Azalea tour.
Yes.
It's fun because then you get to look at houses that have historical charm, right? And
Yes.
you can draw from inspiration from there as well.
And they're fun to do.
Oh,
So,
yeah, it's fun.
Yep. So more great advice. Tell us one feature that buyers overvalue and one feature that buyers undervalue.
One feature, overvalue and undervalue. Every single real estate transaction is totally different.
Okay.
I will tell you, like, I had a time where, this is a fun example. So I had a client and she said, I will not look at a house unless it has 3 toilets. It has to have 3 toilets, but it had a valid reason why. Because it was
Okay.
going to be multi-generational living.
Yep.
She wanted to have her mom live in an area and no one use her toilet. She wanted other people to be able to use their toilet when they came and visited, and then to have her own master bathroom just completely private. So that was their non-negotiable, having 3 toilets. Now, is every buyer like that? No. I've had buyers that said, I will not look at a house unless it has a fireplace in it. And that was just our thing. We could not look at a house unless it has a fireplace. I will say, backyards. And they're
Okay.
fun and they're great, and everyone wants a big, huge backyard until you have to do the lawn maintenance for the big backyard, because
Yeah.
we live on a half acre and we were like, oh, our dogs are going to just roam and run
Yes.
and be free in this big old backyard. Man, they are some couch potatoes. They don't want to be in that backyard. And it takes forever to do the lawn and all that.
Yes.
So I would say big backyards. And then undervalue, garage space. My husband is a mechanic. And he is very into having a garage. And I used to live in the Brick Street district, and so we had a garage, but you had to like walk outside in order to get into the house. And so anytime it'd rain, I'd be pelted with rain or whatever.
yeah.
And so garage space, I wish that sellers would prioritize that a little bit more, clean it up a little bit more, because there are car people out there who really value having a clean, nice garage,
Right.
because people, they drive cars. They got to have a place to
Yeah.
store stuff. And sometimes it's the catch-all for,
Yeah.
all of our treasure. But I would say, yeah, garage space.
All right. So where do deals often wobble? Like where things gone kind of back and forth, and so how do you coach people through that process? Because nothing's perfect, right?
Nothing's perfect. And there are things that are beyond our control. I will say, when things often wobble, it's because people do not clearly communicate what is going on. When you are doing a real estate transaction, you've got to work together as a team. You've got your title company, you've got your lender, you've got your realtor, you've got the inspector, you've got the buyer's agent, you've got the buyer, you got the seller. Everyone's got to work together towards that common goal in order for the sale to go from A to B, from under contract to close. And so when people don't communicate from the beginning, it makes it a little bit more difficult. And then I will also say, when you are not honest, when you're not honest about certain things, that's where things can wobble as well. So just being honest, trustworthy, and communicate.
Yes. Good principles for life
Yes.
as well. All right. So let's say I am looking for my first investment property. What kind of homework should we do? Should the buyer do before they call you?
When you're looking for an investment property, what are you wanting it to be an investment for? Are you wanting it to be like, because there's so many different types of investing. There's property management, like having a tenant living in there paying rent every single month, or there's flipping, like Chip and Joanna Gaines, right? You go in there and you put in the shiplap and do all the things and try to resell the house and all that. But then there's also commercial. And like I said before, I am not a commercial real estate agent, and that's what's wonderful about me and my relationships, is I have people who are the experts in that, and so I would be able to refer and do that as well. But really wanting to know, like, what are your goals? Because some of those are short-term, very quick goals. Some of those are long-term goals. And when you have a property that tenants are leasing out, I follow Dave Ramsey, and he always says, like, people call in and they're like, oh, yeah, the tenant's just going to pay my mortgage. And Dave Ramsey says, no, no, no. The tenant sometimes pays the mortgage.
True.
So you have to plan for those, not the vacant times in the house. So
That's
yes.
true. Okay, so is there some parting wisdom? Is there some decision or one decision which most improves a client's experience, whether that's buying or selling?
Let's see. Selling, I think having I think having reasonable expectations.
Yeah.
I think gone are the days of let's just throw this price out here and let's just see if we get it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think really, because facts are our friends, really looking at the numbers and really knowing what the realistic goal of selling your house is and having your also non-negotiables. You may have to be in a totally different city by the end of the month or by the end of the year. And so time may be your most important part, but maybe you don't necessarily have to sell and you're testing the waters, but just knowing from ahead of time where the property could possibly sell is going to be the best. And just also communicating, making sure that you're all collaborative and working together on the same team.
Yeah. What about for buyers?
For buyers, I would say knowing that the first house that you're looking at, I, you're not going to get into your dream home from the very first home that you are living in. A lot of the time it's not going to be your dream home. But if you are financially able to afford being in a house, being a homeowner, that's going to set you up with a larger net worth in the long run. That's going to set you up for some really big financial success, because when we bought our first house, it wasn't our dream home, but
Right.
then we sold it and we were able to use the proceeds from that house to level up
Yep.
to the next one. And then when you sell the next house, then that's how you
Yeah.
level up. People don't automatically, a very small percentage of people go in and get that $1 million house. A lot of people, they start small and they work higher and higher and higher up.
Right. Build up that equity and then use that to the next one.
Yes. Yes. And
Sure.
it doesn't have to be like show ready perfect when you first move in too. You can take time to do your repairs.
Yeah. There's a lot you can do by yourself.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Okay. A lot of DIY stuff. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, how can they find you?
I'd say the best way to get a hold of me, there's two ways. There's my website, which is kellylovesrealestate.com. There's a lot of articles and things I've written in the past, some client testimonials, and it's just a little bit more streamlined with some frequently asked questions and things of that nature. You can always call or text me with that. My number is 972-989-0057. But that's probably the best way. The website would be a little bit more streamlined, and with voicemails and things like that, with all these spam phone calls, if I don't answer the phone because I'm working with another client, leave a message or send a text.
Yep.
It's 2025.
That's right.
We can do that.
That's
Yeah.
right. You can. You can. All right. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us today on the Better Business Beat. I'm Mechele Mills, your host, and we will see you next week.